You're listening to another episode of Mr. Riley's Neighborhood. This is the place we're entitled to Brad's opinion. And now for your host, Brad Allard.
Well, how y'all doing? We're here with Danette Juister, and she's already very excited, I could tell.
Hello.
Danette Juister is going to tell us about some of the business enterprises she's in, particularly the interior design business that she's bringing from Colorado. By the way, how long have you been in Texas doing the interior business?
I've been here about a year.
A year. Okay. You probably need to put the mic more directly towards you. See,
Okay,
there you go.
how's
See,
that?
she's a rookie at this, guys.
Rookie?
Yeah. So she's going to be telling us about that and her background and whatever else is on her mind, and we're going to have just a swell time. You know, I have no skills in interior design, so she's going to tell me all about it and what she's done and her educational background. And whatever else she has to talk about, you know, she's going to tell us all her political opinions. Well, not really.
You don't want to hear that.
No, well, it's always funny. I say that, and they'll go, really? You want me to talk about that? No.
I mean, I can.
You got really? Okay. Well, anyway, I'm just here trying to get these things shared with the various groups here. There we go. Okay, now we're good. Okay, before we jump into all this, let's talk about the sponsors, though, who make all this possible. Daniel at CrossFit Burleson, 317 Southwest Wilshire. Get yourself a good workout and CrossFit training. It's a pretty good workout. It's not for the faint of heart, but they have supervisors, they have trainers, they have routines, you know, the whole thing. They have training programs. It's not just go there and throw the iron around. So go there on 317 Southwest Wilshire, and you know, Christmas is coming, and we'll be putting on the weight, so you maybe want to get ahead of it a little bit, you know, so there you are. Anyway, CrossFit Burleson. Thank you also to Shandy Stogsdill. She'll be on next Thursday. We're going to talk about what's going on in the real estate markets, because I'm reading some things in the market that is disturbing. And Danette does also a little bit of, besides designing, she's also kind of a full service thing with real estate as well, and I'm sure you've been paying attention to that. But the Stogsdill Group has been here for a long time, and everybody knows Shandy, and they love Shandy. And she knows where real estate is. And so give her a holler if you're looking to move into this area. Also, thank you to Our Place. I was just there this morning. Had lunch, or breakfast rather, with the guys. He had the mayor as a special guest, and, you know, it was a nice, pleasant time. It's always, you've been to Our Place. We went together there for one of our BNI meetings.
Everyone goes there.
Everyone goes there, yeah. Everybody knows auto. Everybody loves auto. At least people with good taste love auto. Our Place Restaurant on the highway in Alsbury. Also, thank you to Wild Cigar and Culture. Do you smoke cigars, do you?
Oh, nope.
No, okay. Well, I know. Most of the ladies, they'll say, well, I know somebody, but our friend Michelle Humphrey likes cigars, so she'll go have one there every now and then. But anyway, Wild Cigar and Culture is a good place to do business. You know, it's people hear cigar bar and they think, oh, am I going to, you know, come out smelling like an ashtray? And the answer is no. It's really well ventilated. It's well lit. High ceilings, and so
It's a beautiful place. I did peek my head in there.
Oh yeah, well, it's a good place to, you know, if you're talking about a little interior design business, go there, have something from the bar, and you could talk there. That's what I like about that bar, is that they don't have it blasting you out, you know, and it's a quiet place. They have a sound. They did their sound acoustics, and so it'll keep it as quiet as possible.
Nice.
So, you know, next time you have a client, it's a good place to meet. Also, Local Life Magazine, it's coming out next week. That's a good place for you to advertise. I know you want to advertise your businesses there. They get 30,000 homes get that magazine, plus about 110,000 people. I see it in businesses here in Burleson. I picked up my last copy at Our Place, but I've seen them on like counters or coffee tables and other businesses in town. So, you know, that might be something to consider when you're expanding your marketing. Also, our friends over at Southern Gym, Gayla Moores has it all. And you know, we think about Christmas, we always think it's coming away. Well, it's going to be here less than 3 months now. She has gift cards, she has layaways, she has installment plans. She has all the things that will make it convenient for you to buy your loved one. You ever been up to that place? Southern Gym? You need to go up there. Yeah. You know, it's really, really nice. It's also, besides inventory, they could design stuff for you, they can clean stuff for you, but they can also repair stuff. That's a big part of the business, is jewelry repair. They'll get, you know, a lot of these people will get jewelry given to them and, you know, handed down to them, and they want to preserve it, and so it gets repaired, and that's a big part of their business. And they're going to be moving from the third floor of the windmill building down to the bottom floor. The process is underway, but construction takes time.
It
You ever
sure
notice
does.
that? You ever notice that?
I do know that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and,
Been
also,
in the industry.
and then of course my wife will be working there starting next week. I mean,
Oh, very cool.
well, she works there already, in the summer and on Saturdays now. That today is her last day at BISD, so it's a big deal for us at the Allard family. Also, our friend Michelle at Hotworks on 731. Michelle's got it going on. I really respect Michelle's entrepreneurial spirit. She's really good at marketing. You got to talk to her about how to market. If anybody wants to talk to her, I mean, she knows how to, she knows how to talk to, it knows how to promote her business.
Right.
So, but Hotworks over in 731 is really, really become popular here in town. You ever been in one of these infrared workouts?
I have not. I went to visit it when I first came into town, but I have not. I like I like hot yoga.
Yeah, they have 11 different programs, including that, and so it's a really popular place because it's a different kind of workout, and there are a lot of people that do CrossFit and Hotworks on the same day. They do the heavy stuff, and then they go to her to, I don't know, for a different type of workout and relax the muscles and whatever else. And of course, our friend Melissa, she's been in Waco, poor girl. I like Waco, but she's stuck in a meeting, an insurance meeting in Waco for 3 days is like, that's got to be Dante's 7th level of hell. But anyway, she is my insurance agent, 682-804-0534. She saved me a little money. I found out what my new escrow is going to be, and I'll be saving about $65 a month now.
Oh, very cool.
Well, it's helpful too.
Absolutely.
We're trying to hold together every penny we can. I also thank you to Danette. She's going to talk about herself here and what she does. 303-324-9906. Okay. You're relatively new to the Texas area, aren't you?
I sure am.
How long you been here?
Been here about a year now.
Isn't it great?
I'm actually enjoying it.
Yeah. But you moved here from Colorado, which is a much different climate, doesn't it?
It's very different, and I am a Colorado girl. I do miss the weather. I love fall and winter. I'm a snow girl. So I'm adjusting. It's taken some time, but I'll eventually adjust.
Did you ever get over that summer we just had? I mean, you never had that in Colorado,
Oh,
did
man,
you?
that was brutal. That was really brutal. I mean, it does get hot in Colorado as well, but it's a different type of heat here. It's very humid.
Yeah, it's tough. And I love Texas. I've been here, my whole life, but summers, even us Texans have to endure them. But that it is what it is, But so what brought you from Colorado to here?
Honestly,
You can tell her whatever you want us to know, or you can make up a story. It's all good to me.
honestly, Colorado is a mini California now. I have my son and my 2 dogs back home and all my friends and family. But it was just time after my divorce. Was divorced about a few years and decided to, I got laid off because of COVID from a home builder back home. I was working there and got laid off, and I decided to sell my house, sell almost everything I had in possession. Seriously.
Wow.
I actually took myself to Idaho, though, for a year just to test it out and thinking, it might be close to Colorado weather and climate, but it really wasn't. So
Was it too cold up there or what?
No, it just
Just didn't feel
it was
right,
a
huh?
smaller feel. Great people. I've met some great friends there, though. I mean, great people, but it just wasn't what I was looking for. I needed something a bit busier and had a lot more going on. And by chance, I was on the internet and basically found my house here in Burleson, which I had never been to Burleson or heard of Burleson before.
Right.
But first time I actually arrived in Burleson was for my walkthrough. So,
Really?
Yeah.
So you really just found us on the net. That's interesting because what were the parameters you were looking for, like DFW real
So-
estate and
No,
certain
so-
price levels or what?
So I had a cap that I wanted to stay at as far as price wise. So, and then actually I had connected with another realtor who was fantastic. She was one that actually went out and was viewing some homes for me. So there was 5 of them. And then one day I was in Idaho, oddly in the shower. I was like, oh my God, I need to jump on that house right away. So it was the house here in Burleson. And right after is when everything went kind of crazy. And that's, it was right before you guys had that freeze.
Right.
So that's what prolonged my, delayed my closing as well because of the freeze you guys had. But it was before the market got really crazy. So something was telling me jump on it. And I was fortunate enough to find that home.
Well, it's interesting because you're like the 3rd person I've had in the show, including a couple of friends from BNI that did somewhat the same thing,
Right.
where they were living the state they were living in was just becoming unlivable for them, or the city they were living in.
Yeah, it's not. It's not the Colorado I grew up in. Definitely not.
Right,
and it's sad, but it's still a beautiful state. I still go back, visit my friends, and enjoy the outdoors there.
Well, our friends Christina Bigley and Sarah Pierce lived in Oregon, and they had the same story. Sat in that seat, said the same story. They said, it wasn't what I grew up in, and politically or economically or any of that. And so they said it wasn't what the state they recognized.
Yeah.
And you get Texans that say that as well, particularly if you live in that that little communist enclave of Austin, right. that it wasn't the Austin they grew up in. I hear that a lot. Now, Fort Worth, I've lived here 30-something years, and I love it, and I think it's expanded in the right way.
In the right way, correct.
And
yeah.
it hasn't lost that hometown feeling, but I hear this a lot. So when you were up in Idaho doing this search, did you say, I want to live in Texas, or you were open to other things?
So actually, when I first got divorced, I actually was thinking of coming down to Texas, but of course I didn't want to leave my son right away, say I'm out of here. But he's a young adult, so now he's fine with it. I actually was looking in other states as well, like in South Dakota, North Carolina. I was jumping everywhere.
North Carolina. That's interesting. My wife's family's from there.
Yeah. My younger brother is out there with his family. But, I was looking everywhere and just like, where am I going to land? So I kind of just was finding homes, but I had it where I wanted to not spend so much, and I wanted to keep it there and, find a decent home that I'm, accustomed to. So I was able to find this one.
Do you find Texas more suitable to your personality, politics, your whatever?
That's why I jumped down here, because I just want to, hopefully we'll have the last freedoms here. Hold on to that.
Well, we're doing our best. But I hear this a lot, and I read about this a lot. I read there's a big article in the Wall Street Journal about this last month about a lot of people just saying, We're done with Portland. We're done with Seattle. We can't handle all the issues that are going on here, and moving to a suburb isn't going to change anything. The tax rates,
absolutely,
all the stuff, and they move down here, and other than the heat, they love everything else about Texas.
I actually think it's beautiful down here because I like this. I call them rolling hills. I mean, they're not much of a hill, but, it's not flat like you would imagine Texas being. So it is beautiful.
Have you been able to travel much on it?
Not. I've been to Houston. I've been to Austin. I've been, like when I drive back home to Colorado, I've been in the northern part.
So you went through the Panhandle. That is flat.
Yeah, that is very flat. Yeah.
So, well, what we like about Texas, among other things, is there's just about everything you want in the state. We have coasts, we have forests, we have mountains, we have, that hill country down in the central part of Texas, San Antonio, New Braunfels area, beautiful.
Right.
And then up here, there's a great drive. If you have to drive to Austin from here, on 281, which will take you through. Glen Rose and Hico and Hamilton and Lampasas, and it's just that kind of country you're talking about.
Yeah.
And you don't have to go down 935. But, a lot of people come here, and I think they're surprised because they think Texas is going to be hot and dusty and dry. And it can be. This summer was tough, but it could also be really, really pretty. The 2 or 3 days we have of fall, everybody looks forward to. We go from hot to cold pretty quick.
Well, Colorado, we can have 4 seasons in one day, literally.
Yeah. Well, so you set up your business here.
Okay.
All right, we're going to talk most about interior, but you do other things as well.
Yes.
And so if they want to talk to you about like the whole package, you work with builders to help people. When you work with a builder, are you working with the person that's hired them, or is the builder hiring you to do the design? I guess I didn't answer that really elegantly, but I'm just saying, do you work for the builder or do you work for the client?
Well, I can work with the builder, but usually I'm working with a client. And back home, I would be working with my client as an interior designer. I was not a realtor back then, as I am now. So now I'm working with my clients as a realtor, but also providing the interior design services to assist them. So I be able to help them with their elevations, the brickstone, and the mortar. I mean, everything on the exterior, and then interior with their interior finishes and with the patterns, the color styles, and all that.
So you get
So it's fun.
a client, could basically, you and the client can start from the beginning, but you also do, remodels, I'm sure.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so you do more remodels or more new builds?
Well, kind of both. Well, back home, I did more remodels because I actually was interior designer, and I was selected for a couple of show homes. So, and after the first one, we hadn't even opened. They wanted me to be the designer liaison for the next year because I was so organized, and I only work with the contractors and vendors. I didn't never hire anyone because I like to have hands-on and know what's going on. But I did the Grant Humphreys Mansion and the Porter Mansion, and it's a public show home, so they were also in the magazine. So I've been featured in the magazines a few times.
That's nice. So, what's your background in this? Your education, your experience?
Yeah.
Whatnot?
So I actually was working at Oppenheimer years back. I was a trainer in the retirement department, and just decided that it wasn't going to be my future.
Right.
And actually, we were building a semi-custom home at the time, and my husband at the time said, either we can continue building the house or we'll stay here and then you can go to school. And I decided to go to school instead of getting the new house. So I got my education at Arapahoe Community College, and my son was very young at the time, but I managed to do all my work when he was asleep or at daycare or whatever.
Right. I have a lot of students like that. I teach at Hill Community College, and I have a lot of situations like that.
Families, parents, exactly. So got through that and started my business right away, and that's when I started getting into the. I had one project actually in school, worked in a group project, and that actually went to the White House. It was a children's display, so that it was selected to go to the White House. So that was kind of cool. But from that, I was selected to be on the show homes. And so one was I had 3 spaces. One was her master bedroom, and so you totally you are putting in the furniture, changing out all the drapery and all that. I mean, just, refabric everything. So, and getting to the style that they wanted. And then I also had the his and her sitting room and then the bathroom that was connected. So I had some major spaces there. And then in the next show home, I had the kitchen sitting area, and then I had his master. So in that space, I actually did a heated floor with a steam shower, and it was a pretty cool photo.
What kind of education do you need in this field to be an interior designer?
Well, so interior designer and decorator are 2 different things. A lot of people don't know that.
Really? I didn't either. I didn't.
So interior designer actually has the education where they actually can work with the blueprints, so they understand the blueprints.
And you do understand the blueprints.
Yeah,
okay.
I can read them. And then I've of course drawn some, so not
really?
Not in depth of like engineering, but just the space and doing some 3D and stuff.
How about that?
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. I haven't done it for a while, but I enjoyed it.
You use like graphic computer programs?
Yeah, like AutoCAD and Revit
Right.
was the ones that I last used. Revit was pretty cool. But and a decorator is more just the aesthetics, just throwing in the furniture and the colors and stuff. But I actually like working with the space planning as well. So, and that, I can work with architects and builders.
So the interior design, though, is a degree.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not just you take a couple of courses online and get a piece of paper. It's
Correct.
A degree.
Yeah.
But you have to be certified in this state. I noted you have to be certified to do anything in this state. It's one thing about Texas is that, just about every profession you want to think, there needs to be a piece of paper saying you can do it.
Right.
But the thing about I always thought about interior decorating and interior design is similar or very. Pretty much the
It's
same thing.
similar,
Yeah.
but a designer, and that's why, they charge a little bit more because they do have the education and they can help with communicating with the builders and architects.
And so when you're doing like a redesign or remodeling, whatever else, you actually have to go and tear things down and stuff like that sometimes, right?
Yeah.
It's interesting. You ever watch HGTV?
Yeah, I used to.
Oh, okay. There's a Burleson girl that has her own TV show. She's in her 2nd year.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah. It's oh, is it No Demo Remo? Because she doesn't demolish things.
Oh, okay.
Her name, her maiden name is Jennifer Marsh, but her married name is Jennifer Todrick, and she was a student of mine from about 17 years ago. And
Very cool.
yeah, and her mother worked for the district for a long, long time as like the head nurse. And it's just funny. Wow, I know that girl, and and I see it on TV, and it's interesting. But my wife loves HGTV, and
They give you great ideas. You know?
well, yes, and that's for the husband. It may not be as much
Yeah.
fun. Oh, I saw this on
'Cause you don't see the behind the scenes stuff. So.
Well, and all the drama. I always wondered when they do these remodels, redos, new interior design, and they have the final walkthrough, and the oh, this is fantastic, and tears in their eyes. I want to have like, what's this crap? What did you do to my house?
Well,
This
you would
looks-
imagine they would have to get approved. I mean, like as an interior designer, I always made sure I got everything approved and
Right.
signed off before
Well,
I ordered.
I just like to see those. Like, man, this sucks. But
Right.
no, but it didn't. No, but there's always in tears because it's so beautiful and whatever else.
Right.
And then the bill comes.
Right.
And I hear like a lot of these houses that they remodeled, their taxes go up so high that it really is like I just would have left it as a dump.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
anyway, so they get your education, you have to, and there's probably math involved, which I'm sure is a deterrent for some people in all this. But I always thought about interior design. Again, I'm in my ignorance. I thought it was decorating was the biggest part, but you're telling me it's also the schematics and the planning and the
Oh, yeah.
blueprints, whatnot. You know, you have to have a good eye for color, I suppose, and a good eye for taste and what's going on currently in the in the what's current, because you don't want to make it look like something from the late 70s. Well, yeah,
Right.
orange countertops are in. Lime green carpet. No, we love it.
Yeah. So there's a trend. So there's always trends. So like what's coming up now, like evergreen. Evergreen, what is it? Evergreen Fog is like the newest color
Okay.
for Sherwin-Williams. It's a beautiful, soft, muted green. It kind of has a gray hue to it, but like gray's going out because the gray was a trend. So
Gray?
yeah, gray. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's never been my color.
Well,
But anyway, so because of COVID, apparently everyone started going outside. Once everyone was able to go out and enjoy life again, so now they're actually bringing the indoors inside. So you're going to start seeing more texture and more warmth coming back. So it's that cycle, We see cycles all the time. So we're going to start seeing more warmer colors, and the painting colors, they're softer and they're more muted. They're not going to be as vibrant.
Well, I always wondered who decides that. How does a trend become a trend?
I look at Sherwin-Williams. You can go to the furniture and the fabric stores, and it's whatever's out there.
Well, I mean, somebody somewhere saying this will be the next
Right.
trend, by golly. And, my wife and my daughter like to paint our house. So they, different colors in the bedrooms, like light blue and stuff.
Yeah.
When my son was like 12, I got this wild idea. I painted his room in the Texas flag. Okay, I got tape and I measured it out, and did the math and, put tape on the wall and painted, red, white, and blue. And I made a star out of tape and painted around it and all this other stuff. I mean, he was 12. He loved it.
Yep.
And he was 19, not so much. But so when he moved out to go to college, eventually my wife said, that flag has got to go. And so she painted in the color she likes. She likes doing that stuff.
So painting actually is probably the least expensive way to change up your space. If you want to have a change, so just start with your paint.
Well, I guess people just like change. For me, that we'd had the same paint colors all our life. I'm not one that says I got the hankering to, tear this out and put this up or whatever else like some people do. But my wife does.
Right.
She has some very specific plans for the house once she's full on retired, and good. I'm looking forward to that. But but a lot of people watch those shows and they make it sound so easy, and they get involved in one of these things, and oops.
Right.
And then you also have to deal with the contractors, right?
Yes. But like back home when I was really busy in my business, this was years ago, because then I became a housewife and house mom, and my son became my main focus. And I still did, our own projects. I just wasn't as busy in my own business. And that's why, like, now I'm doing real estate and I want to combine my skills in interior design and combine both of them together.
And I see on these shows they have these computer programs that can, like take a photo or something like a panoramic of the room or the space you want to change, and you could say, well, if you want this looking paint color, boom, and punch it and the colors comes in, or if you want this type of flooring, boom, comes in. One of the projects my wife wants is wood floors. Or,
Wood floors?
Yeah, but engineered wood, I guess. I mean, regular hardwood is not only expensive, but I heard it's a lot of maintenance.
Right.
But,
right.
What do you think about those kind of floors? Do you think they're great, or you think they're just a big expense?
I like engineering floors. I've had those, and I have them now too. And I actually, my last house where my 2 dogs would run around and stuff, they didn't really scratch them up. So
Yeah.
that's been my experience, and they're nice looking too.
Yeah, that's the big project for probably next summer. Yeah, so I look forward to that. I may be out of town for those 2 weeks. How long does it take anyway to put in a house full of wood floors?
Installation,
Yeah.
it just depend on the size and the crew.
Well, I know. Well, we have about 2,200 square foot, and we're not going to do it all over the house.
Right.
But anyway, it's that's what she does. My wife does it every summer. She gets these projects.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah, and she, I mean, they're not massive, but she'll like. I remember one summer, just a couple summers ago, we changed the kitchen.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
She had a wall texture and color she didn't care for, so my daughter and her changed it.
Oh, so they do it themselves, huh?
Well, yeah, and Robin will put a little bit of
DIY.
idea into it. It's not like she just slapped paint on it. I mean, she designed this thing, with like
Put some thought into it.
they were like little running boards about 4 feet high, and then so the bottom is one type of material, and the top was a different color.
Right.
But the colors, go together, and on and on. So it wasn't just like slap paint and move on. No, she really did the math and all this other stuff. She said, I think I could do this. And I said, no, you can't. For one thing, it's what we're doing in our kitchen. If we don't like it, we could tear it out.
Right.
But it's a lot of pressure, I'm sure, to get it just right. People could be pretty demanding. I bet.
Right.
But you also, with your background, you could suggest things to them that maybe they hadn't thought of.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, because usually when I have a interior design client, when I present something to them, I usually give them 3 options, and that's something that can be interchangeable with all the options as well.
Yeah. Do they
I
go
help
with you
guide
to the
them.
store and all that?
Some do, yeah, and some others just prefer me to come with the selections, with the fabrics, whatever the project may be. I had one client back home for 7 years, and we started in the Sky Lofts. It was like 2 blocks from the course field, and she was in the penthouse.
Oh, nice.
And so I basically did. I had some furniture flown in from that I had ordered from Italy, so that we had several pieces. I had custom art done for them. I actually design furniture as well, custom design furniture, and some art pieces. But yeah, I usually throw the whole concept in, and my clients usually trust me.
When you go get your degree, education, certifications, all this, you went through this process. Do you have to go through like a lot of different design ideas, motifs, whatever you want to call it? Like this is French provincial, this is American colonial, whatever, all these things I see on the shows.
You do have your projects that you have to create, in school. But when you get out there in the real world, it's basically what the client wants that's kind of guiding you, because every design can be different, So basically in the Skyloft, we did more of a modern design, but then they moved to a different, they moved into a home, over $1 million home down in South Colorado. So that was more traditional. So I had to do a transitional using the stuff that I had already created into their house and the furniture that they had in storage. So I had to do a transitional, and it worked out really well. So,
do you ever go to like antique stores or that kind of place for ideas?
Oh, absolutely. That was actually one of the tables I designed. Was found an old antique.
So you design your own furniture?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, I designed. Yeah, I designed.
Well, I guess I'm thinking, did you design it and manufacture it, or you have it?
No, I had a gentleman back in Colorado. His name was Frank, an older gentleman. He had a big welding company, store off Santa Fe. Really nice guy. But when you walked into his warehouse, I had a cough all the time because it was really thick and smoke.
Right.
But so he was a great welder, and he's the one that put all this together for me.
How about that?
Yeah.
Well, my wife and I like to go to antique stores. Well, she likes to go to antique stores. I'll chaperone her. You know, I like antique stores for a little while. She could do it all day. You know, 8 hours of it. After about an hour, I'm pretty saturated. But when I go with her and I see all these different older furniture designs or whatever else, I'd like, I say, that'd be great in our house. And then I see something totally different. Oh, that would be great. I'd be a terrible client because first of all, I couldn't articulate what I wanted clearly, and then but it's like all these different things. It's like I need 5 homes. That's all there is to it. I need one that's contemporary, modern. I need one that's
Right.
country
But it doesn't matter if
rustic.
you have a contemporary or a traditional piece, as long as it flows together within the house. So if it's with the color, the fabric, or what have you, and there are some pieces that you want to stand out. So like with that house when we went down to the Castle Rock area, it was more traditional, and I did some. It was more Italianate than anything, but it was a traditional. So and the walls alone, I had a faux painter back then, and the walls alone were about $24,000, just to get all the different textures and everything that I wanted.
Well, you probably know the antique malls all around this area by now, right?
I went to a few. I've been to a few.
Which is the one you like best? So I can tell Robin that.
I actually been to a couple of them off Wilshire, and then there was one off of John Jones, and I had gone with one of my neighbors.
The one on my wife knows the ones on Wilshire. She's done them many times. As far as Dallas, there's a couple of places that are pretty nice. And so when we want to get out of town, we'll go over there, and there's a couple of places that has some, like one called City View. That's pretty decent, and they had that whole design district in Dallas, downtown area, and there's
I've not made it down there yet.
There's one place that's all like Victorian British stuff from the 19th century, and it's like a big warehouse, and they have it divided up in like rooms, and with the furniture that would go with that room, and it's like wow. But my wife doesn't care for that at all. I mean, that's not what she was looking at. But I'm the historian guy, and I'm like, this is fantastic, But as far as other areas that you get these ideas, one of my favorite magazines is Texas Monthly, and they have these great ads for different types of Western Texas culture type designs. You do that kind of thing?
I can do anything actually, and I actually just met a couple yesterday, and they design skulls from like buffalo and longhorn
skulls.
Yeah, it's really cool how they design them. They can paint them, or they put like broken glass. It's really cool.
Well, those longhorn skulls are very highly sought after here. It's a very popular decorating item.
Okay.
You see them in a lot of homes. When our kids are smaller, or when they were with my parents or whatever, sometimes on a Sunday afternoon, Rob and I would go to these show homes, from developers, and it's like, wow, that's so great. All these different homes. Like we had this one house we went to, and it was over in the Southern Oaks area, and it was like this old Mediterranean style, open, all wide open, and had like this little piazza in the middle, and I was like, okay, I'll buy it. Oh, you want how much? We'll see you. But see, all these things, I mean, all these great ideas, it must, that's why I'd be a terrible client, because I would say, I want this, until the next morning I'll call you up and say, all those plans you just did, I've changed my mind. Let's do something else. Do you ever that ever happen to you?
Oh yeah, of course. But once you sign off, because I always have clients sign off on everything, and then if there's a change order, you usually have to pay for that too, because once the order's in, then they have to restock and everything. So there's always a fee for something.
Yeah. So where do you get the furniture from? Where? I mean, do you just get it locally, or do you have to send away for it?
I used to go, like back home, I always go to Design Center. Yeah. And order from their different showrooms.
I bet they have some of those showrooms around here. I know there's a couple over off of LBJ in Dallas that my wife dragged me to. And you see all this stuff, and you can envision it in your home. But again, if you want to really do a nice job on redesigning your home, it's you better bring your wallet. I mean, if you don't want it to look cheap. You want it to look like it's been done.
True, but like so like for my client that I had for 7 years back home in Colorado, literally because I didn't have a budget. I mean, but I had basically had free reign, but I had some like Italian fabric that I combined it with some some less expensive to create a beautiful piece. So it's not like you don't have to break the bank for everything.
Well, no, I think the designer probably is well worth the money because you don't want to. Because if you try to do this by yourself,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
you'd end up halfway through it and you're completely overwhelmed by it, and so I wouldn't even attempt to do any major redesign of my home at all without talking to somebody like yourself.
Right.
Well, I would talk to you, dadgummit. You're the one I talk to, and so, but it's our neighbors went through a redesign. And, they basically were, living out of a suitcase because they were
Right.
getting their bedroom and bathroom done and all this other stuff. And, it was about 3 weeks of hell, but that's
Yeah,
just the way it is,
yeah.
right?
That is, yeah, especially with the contractors these days too.
What's the matter with the
Well,
contractors?
sometimes they just don't like showing up.
Yeah. Well, a couple of our friends that we know that do roofing or do other things, they're having the same story. Are you having the same problem getting
The funny
people to
thing
work?
is when I first moved here, because I wanted to start building some contractors, like I had back home. So I would be calling for different projects at my house. I had some beams added to my new house and stuff, and painted a couple things and rooms and stuff. But I had contractors basically that wouldn't finish the jobs. I'm like, what is going on? So it's frustrating. So just finding the right contractors is key. So because back home I had a great group that used to love to work for me.
Well, and I see complaints about that more often. My wife is on a couple of websites for local stuff where people could put their frank opinions about business. And I see this, a lot of them are positive, of course. I really like this guy. But I see 2 or 3 every now and then, like, this guy took my money and didn't finish the job kind of thing. And that you finding that yourself.
Yeah, because I actually jumped onto the Burleson, residential, whatever, for contractors, and got a few of them from there.
You
But
talk
I'm
about Residents and Neighbors?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
the guy that runs his shop here this is one of his websites on Facebook.
yeah.
Well, there's
but
that.
I mean, but it's just individuals that just. I just got to find the right people because it's a reflection of me, who I ever send out to. I refer out.
Well, I find it to be unusual because I just think the most important thing about these people you're dealing with is contractors be not just the quality of the work, but reliability
Yeah,
and honesty.
Yeah.
I mean, and the fact that they would leave a job undone.
yeah.
Is that why you don't? Is that why you don't pay until it's done?
True.
Yeah.
And then people shouldn't pay until it's done.
What
Yeah.
do you when you pick up a client? Is it half now, half later kind of thing?
Say that again.
Oh, well, when you pick up a client, is it half now and then half later?
I get a certain amount up free, a fee, and then that takes care of the first 10 hours of my work.
Well, you need some capital to work with, right?
Yeah. And just like contractors, you'll give them a little something, but you won't give them the full amount until it's completed.
I know, but I find that to be unusual. I haven't heard these kind of stories until really post-COVID. I wonder if that has something to do with it.
I don't know.
I don't know. We'll blame Biden. You can blame Biden. Why not? It's easy. It's his fault.
What's his name again?
Yeah, right. So, but anyway, hey. I know, no politics on guest days. We know, but anyway, but I'm getting kind of close here on the time. We've got about 10 more minutes or so. So
Oh, wow.
it goes just like that, doesn't it?
Oh.
Yeah. How are you trying to get your name out there to clients besides being here? Or there's other places they could find you at, right?
Right. So right now, I'm as a realtor, I'm trying to get my name and face out there because I am new to Texas from Colorado, and so I'm trying to promote my interior design with that business, so
Right.
hand to hand. So my clients will have best of both worlds.
You do commercial work?
I have not. I've been trying to do some ads, putting on my Facebook or YouTube, but it's so much, it's just a lot, time consuming. So.
Well, that's where I can plug Tiffany Griffin's magazine again, because if you're looking to expand in this area, it goes
Yeah.
to a lot of homes, and it's affordable,
Right.
And so, and she's very, very prompt, and she's very what's a good way of putting it? I want to call her perfectionist because that sounds like she's a little neurotic. She's not, but she really does.
She's good at her job.
Takes it seriously.
Okay.
That magazine is in good quality and on time.
Right.
And so you don't know these things we're talking about with contractors you won't experience with her. So, but that's a good one way of doing it. And of course, you remember the Chamber of Commerce?
I am a member.
Yeah.
Member. I'm also a volunteer in the COPS program for the Burleson Police Department.
Yeah, I remember that too.
yeah, yeah.
Well, I have Gabrina Daniels on Monday of my next show, and I just joined.
Oh,
I joined last month. I joined on the show, as a kind of a little stunt, I
Yeah.
guess. But that's a real good way to do it
Yeah, yeah.
because Gabrina does a tremendously good job of getting people's names out there, promoting Burleson-related businesses. But you do, besides Burleson, you do around this whole DFW area, right?
oh, absolutely. So DFW and the surrounding areas, all the way to Keller, Dallas, Hazlitt, Weatherford, all the way down to Claiborne. Yeah.
And you probably don't know this, but Hazlitt didn't exist 10 years ago. It was not a town.
Oh, really? I have a buddy and his wife and family live out there.
Yeah, it was just a patch of dirt around.
Yeah, they said there was
2000.
nobody out there, and
Yeah.
now they're like by everyone.
Yeah, and it's this big old high school and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Well, there's several communities. I grew up in a town similar like that just blew up,
Right,
in
right.
Plano.
Yeah.
And there are towns in Collin County that were just reference points on maps. Now they're, like Frisco or
Mm-hmm.
Allen or, Saxe. Saxe didn't even exist when I was in school. And now it's, big old school districts and whatever else. And as far as it happening down here, Burleson is a lot different than it used to be. Great, and I think for the most part better.
Oh, good.
There's thing here, thing there. The traffic can be a little intense or whatever, but it's
Oh,
growing.
it's nothing like back home.
I know. That's what I
On the
tell people.
highways, I will say yes, it's crazy. So
Yeah.
but
So you go anywhere more or less in this area.
yeah, absolutely. And I usually can communicate with people. I have a BA in communications from Colorado University, and then also certificate in mediation. So I like to listen to the clients.
A certificate of mediation, really.
Yeah.
So in case there's a little dispute with the contractor and the client, you can work it out with
You
them.
know what? The important thing when you have clients or you're working with anyone is listening. I mean, that's I think the skill that one people lack a lot here.
Is the your fee based on the size of the remodel kind of thing, redesign? I mean, is it or is it a flat
Usually
rate?
by hourly.
All right. And so,
Yeah.
okay, that makes sense. Now, do you have a website?
I did, but I got to recreate that because, like I said, I just moved here, so I'm trying to get my real estate going first, and then combining that. So I will get that going here shortly.
Yeah. Well, my man Taylor can help you along those lines as well. But it is tough starting a business all
Yeah.
over again, right? I mean, you have the experience, obviously, but you have to sell yourself to
Yeah.
strangers, basically, and that's kind of tough to do.
Yeah, a brand new environment, but I'm enjoying it here.
Yeah. And that Burleson Cops program, what is that all about? Tell me.
Oh, it's really cool. So you actually go through. I went through a couple different training classes, and then you graduate, and then you have to, you have to go through a background check and all that stuff. So basically, what we do is we're eyes and ears for the police officers. We actually have uniforms.
Really?
We just got trained on the ticket machine. So people who park in handicap illegally, we have to. Unfortunately, give them a ticket.
No, and not unfortunately. If they're going to park in handicap, they don't belong there.
True.
Right?
Yeah,
They deserve
yeah.
it.
True.
Because
yeah.
my parents need to be parking there, not that kind of thing. That's how I look at it now. Now,
Yeah.
of course, when you're driving around Christmas time and you see an open spot and you get close, got that blue handicap.
Yeah. Exactly. But
it-
basically, we're the eyes and ears for the police officers, and we drive around we're in uniforms. We drive around in the vehicle that they provide us from the police department. So,
Really, you see, I was under the impression it was more like a support group as much as anything else, but it's also has law enforcement.
yeah, we have
kind of
radios and
activities.
iPad.
Really?
And but we don't confront the public, because if anything, we had to call for backup,
Right.
and it's just we're just there to be their ears and eyes, and say hello to the citizens out there on Burleson. It's really pretty cool because we've had a couple of people be jokesters where they'll be pointing at their wife like "come get her" or something.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's pretty funny.
Did you do this back home?
I did. I went through the academy, but they didn't have anything like the COPS program they do here. So, but I did get involved in my community back home as well.
And so you decided to transfer that here.
Yeah, I've always wanted to be a police officer and detective when I was younger, but I didn't go down that route. But so this is my part of helping out.
Well, that's great though, and Billy Cordell, I know appreciate your help because he's been on here a couple of times, and he's going to be on here again.
Oh, cool.
And the Burleson Police is a pretty impressive outfit.
They are.
And of course, when they're writing you a ticket, you're less impressed. But as far as
Have not had that happen.
well, no, but our police department is pretty top notch. I have a couple of students on the force, and they were fine young men then, and they're fine. Well, still young men to me, but but it was just saying it's one of the aspects, and we know that probably the two biggest things that people look for when they're looking to move in this area is the crime rates in schools.
Yeah.
And I think we do pretty well on both of those scores.
Yeah. And they would love to have more people involved as well.
Mm-hmm.
So more, volunteers.
You have what background do you have to do that?
Well, you have to pass their, criminal history, background check, and all that stuff. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's a great program.
Well, if you ever decided to also, if you ever want to open a Burleson office, our friend Camille has that hub, and they have space work, smaller spaces that might fit what you need. So, but you see your business expanding more in Burleson, or further north?
Well, Burleson and further north, and
So both, huh?
Absolutely. I'm the type of worker that will go anywhere.
Yeah. Well, I really enjoyed this visit. It's been very educational. It really is. I mean, like I said, those HGTV shows are on all the time, and there's a couple my wife really likes. She really likes that group from Laurel, Mississippi, if you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, the couple?
Yeah, the big guy with the beard,
Yeah.
the small little girl, little wife of his.
Yeah.
I forget the name of it. She knows it. Of course, she first got involved in this watching Chip and JoJo down in Waco.
Right.
See,
They've done a fantastic job.
I went to school at Baylor in Waco, and it's like, why Waco? But they're both graduates, but still Waco has gotten better.
I've been down to Waco a couple times, and great bakery down there.
Yeah. Well, let's just say there's parts of Waco that no matter how much remodeling you do, it ain't going to help.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a rough town, but it's just interesting to me, how this whole remodeling genre
has
just
expanded.
just blown up because of HGTV or DIY. Is that it? DIY?
Yeah, DIY.
DIY, whatever it is.
Do it yourself.
And, all this other stuff, and people think, well, I could do that. And no, it's a little bit harder than it looks.
Right.
So they need to talk to somebody like yourself.
Right.
How would they get a hold of you?
Give me a call, text me. Easiest way is just text me, actually, at 303-324-9906.
Mm-hmm. And that's 24/7 service. Call you up at 3 a.m. I need some remodeling.
You can call and leave a message. I'll get back to you next day.
Well, but soon, when you get all this other stuff set up, let us know, and we'll throw it up on the screen about your website address.
Awesome.
And I know it's starting a business from ground up. Even if you have some experience, it's a lot of details to take care of.
Yeah. Right now it's on the side of my real estate, so it's going hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I'm hoping to get that up and running again.
I bet it will. I really do. When you get that website, I'm sure you'll have examples of your work and whatever else and things of that nature. And you're the first interior designer I know in this area.
Oh, cool.
Now there may be others. I'm not saying Burleson doesn't have any, but you're you're the first one I've talked to, and there's a lot more to it than when I thought. I kind of looked into what you did.
Yeah.
For a little Googling or whatever else. I'm like, this is a little more involved than I thought it was.
Absolutely, it's a lot of details. That's why I'm very detailed.
Well, I always let the guests have the last word. So tell us what you would want us to know.
I'm from Colorado. I enjoy living here in Texas. I'm very active. I have a son who's 26 and 2 dogs back home in Colorado, and loving life.
Yeah, and that phone number one more time.
303-324-9906.
There you go. If you're looking to redesign your home, looking to remodel your home, looking to change the colors, the whole texture of your home, Danette Juister is the lady you want to talk to.
Thank you.
Taylor, throw up that Rise thing one more time, will you? I don't want to forget that. I told Nicole Tyson I put it there. This is on October 8th. This is the mental health seminar at Pathway. And it's from 3 to 9. Oh, what am I saying? 9 to 3. Good grief.
You're good.
I do that all the time. It's from 9 to 3, and there's no fee, but there is a sign-up process. So I want to keep an idea of how many numbers are coming. And if you want to know more about it, check out the show from Monday. It's on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, et cetera, and you'll get the ideas for it. I know this is going to be a really, really big deal, so check that out. Thank you, Danette. I enjoyed the show.
Thank you so
I was
much.
very, I found it very informative. And this will be on Spotify and Apple within a day or so, but it's already on YouTube and Facebook. Share it with your friends. If they have people that you know that want to get their house looked at, she'll come and do it.
Absolutely.
So thank you all very much.